I'm joined today by Jalen Garcia. Jalen, I love to call you the hometown kid just because so many people at Dealer Park loved to cheer you on last year with the Billings Mustangs. You called it a dream come true. Jalen was going to go play in the LMB in Mexico. Now with some logistical issues, we just found out you're coming back to the Pioneer League. So talk about that process and how you're going to be back at Dealer Park.
Yeah, essentially this offseason's been kind of wild. I've signed to play with 2 Mexican contracts this offseason. And just one thing led to another, and Jim Riggleman kept in the back of my ear and saying like, things fall through, you got a spot with us, and just all things just ended up me back with the Mustangs. And honestly, I'm happy about it. I'm blessed, and I'm stoked for another season back in Billings for sure.
And I know a lot of fans are just as excited about that. Let's talk about Riggleman, the rest of this hitting coach. I mean, a lot of Hall of Famers. Did you ever think that you'd be playing in Billings? I know you said that wasn't even a dream at the time, but now with this coaching staff.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I know I signed to play Mexico, and I hear these guys get hired, and I'm like, oh, shoot, man. I feel like I'm kind of missing out a little bit. So, yeah, now that I have these guys on the staff, I'm stoked to just pick their minds. I know they've managed and coached so many good players, and if I can learn anything from these guys, I'll be so thankful. So
you told me you're one of 4 returning starters that you guys will have, most of them from the pitching staff. You're the only one out in the field. But what do you think the Pioneer League is going to look like this year now that all these teams have had a year under their belts as independent clubs?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be more refined. I think especially the teams that were in the league last year, they'll have a little more refined talent. I know they'll know what more to expect. I think the new teams might have a little learning process to go through like we did last year, but no, it'll be exciting, and having more teams will be more fun too. So
we've talked a little bit about it. Obviously, Montana isn't a warm state for a lot of the year, and you had this late snow. How do you stay fresh? It sounds like you're training with MSU Billings. What have you done to get ready for this season?
Yeah, I went to New York and trained at an indoor facility for a couple of months. I came back here. I've been training with the Scarlets. I've been training with the MSUB guys. It's funny. I'm just like going back to high school and college and just doing whatever I can. I'm thankful for these guys to allow me to get work with them. So.
You mentioned the Scarlets. High school baseball has been passed by the MHSA. They said they have 8 to 10 teams interested. They want to start it next spring. It's a crazy thing. It's a big task. I know it's something that a lot of athletic directors are thinking, man, how are we going to pull this off? As someone who played Legion baseball, what are your thoughts on this now being a sanctioned sport in high school?
I think it's cool that more kids will play. I think obviously the small schools really never had the opportunity. I think it was tough for them to get enough kids. So I like that kids will play baseball, maybe even a little longer. It'll be interesting to see the quality of baseball. I hope it's I hope it stays pretty high. But I think Legion and high school, if they can still play at the same time and keep quality baseball, that'd be amazing. So.
Finally, just adding another team in the Pioneer League, you got to travel around the state. You had your experience with Missoula. What makes Billings and the management there, the park, really stand out from other Pioneer League teams in the state?
Yeah, I think just how well it's run. I think Gary runs a tight ship. I think everything is so very professional. I think just the stadium's amazing. I know all the players that came from different organizations last year were just like, man, this place is amazing. Like all the equipment we're provided, we're treated like kings here, and it's awesome. Billings loves the Mustangs, and it's great.
You guys have a real melting pot. Just guys from everywhere, especially with this independent affiliation.
Yep. When
they find out that their center fielder's actually from Billings, what do they say?
Yeah, it's interesting. I played in Missoula last year, and I'm on deck, and there's the fans are right behind me, and they see up on the board I'm from Billings, like, oh, Billings kid, and all of a sudden they're cheering for me, because all these other kids on their own team aren't from the state or even. So it's cool to have that sometimes. But yeah, it's cool to have the state cheering for me when I'm playing around there. So yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome. Pioneer League Rookie of the Year coming back to Billings. Thank you, Jalen, for being with us today, man.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
They start in mid-May. We'll be right back after this.